going to eat my biscuit.
Now, there we go. Yay!
I'm not touching shit anymore.
Hello, it's me.
Alright.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got...
Still eating my biscuit.
I'm just going to say, like, also, please let us know if the audio goes out again. We don't know why that keeps happening.
I don't.
But we should be back.
Woohoo! Sorry again.
And sorry again.
I'm really sorry.
We love you. And we appreciate
Yeah.
your patience. Oh, goodness. Okay. I'm still the only one on the screen on my phone, but we'll catch up.
Yeah, I'm catching up there already. So.
Okay, cool.
I'm eating a biscuit because I'm irritated.
Jeff got mad, so now he's having carbs. I get it.
All right.
So
I'm going to get my biscuit off the thing.
Let's make
All
sure.
right.
What's happening?
So let's make
Okay,
up
there we
for
go.
lost time.
Like that delayed thing going on.
Welcome. And hopefully nothing happens again. But yes, please let us know in the comments if it does happen again. And then also, if you have questions at any time, you don't have to type I have a question, just type your question.
Yep. I hate this program.
Yeah, you do?
I
Okay,
do.
we hate this program. It's over between us and this program.
Probably.
We're going to break up with it.
Probably.
But yes, so
Okay.
cool. Here we go.
All right. So, irritated.
You're
Gotta
okay,
go
friend.
down. I
It'll
know,
be
I know.
okay. Jeff feels bad because this is what he does, and it's irritating when it doesn't work
I
out
try
for
and
him.
get it all set and ready to go.
You work hard,
And then
friend. It's okay.
like-
Everybody gets it.
It's like, no, screw you.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, we are going to talk about the K-2 meter that you can't see at the moment for some reason. Because
Well, it's not caught up.
Well, no, I know, but it should have been zoomed in more.
This is a K2, though.
Oh, Oh, kill me. Just kill me right now. All right,
This is
that's
it.
the K-2 meter. This is the digital recorder.
Can you zoom with your things that you have?
No.
Damn it, Jeff. But so, hi, friends. Hi, Tracy. Thank you for joining us today. Our top fan, our super fan, Tracy.
She's here sitting.
Well, obviously, super fan mom is here in our studio audience. But yes, so Jeff is going to work on trying to get it zoomed in a little bit because he had it zoomed and then technology was like, "Oh, you thought?
Yeah.
You're adorable." But basically, so we're going to talk about our two technologies today, our K2 and our recorder, right, Jeff?
Yep.
And we are Ghostly Hauntings, a paranormal team. We see spooky things, and we're spooky friends who like to see spooky things together.
That, and now zoom. All right, that's as far as I can go.
Okay, well, it hasn't happened yet on my end, but I'm looking forward to seeing an extreme close-up of me. I'm excited.
It's gonna be of both of us. Whatever,
Just go
Kim.
right in on my makeup. I spent time on
Whatever,
it today.
Kim. All right. So,
Okay, so we're
we are
back.
back.
And now it's dark. Look at that.
well, I had to adjust
here we go.
stuff so that it wasn't super bright like it was.
I feel like I'm on like some kind of newscast. I'm so cool now.
I know.
This nice table that Jeff
It
made.
is.
Anyway,
It is. All right. Anyways, yeah. So digital recorder and K2 meter. I like both of these. They go hand in hand well with each other.
and you could carry them both in the same
Yup,
hand
you
if you
can
want
carry
to.
them both
So
in the same
literally
hand.
hand in hand.
Yeah. Or you can also just do this, which is fine. I usually do this when I set it down, though.
So, but I know this is probably a little advanced to jump right to. Will that set this off?
It will not set
What?
it off because it's not cool enough to set it off. And why?
So it's
Why?
it's going off like crazy tonight.
Well, I blame your phone some of it.
I don't.
But see, I don't know if you can see. You probably can see, but it's already going off because of Kim. We know it's Kim.
It's probably me.
And it doesn't do anything. So it's nice. They go hand in hand well with each other.
I'll hold this.
Because
one.
what I like to do is, once you get everything ready, just hit that record button on whatever device you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll either set it down next to it
Yeah.
and, leave that down on the ground, or I'll set it on top, or I'll do something so that it's like laying on there. So that there has to be, if they're interacting with that, then there's a good way that you're going to capture, hopefully a voice of some kind. Mm-hmm.
So this just does,
No.
it's for basic. You got to go back to basics, Jeff.
I know, I'm sorry. Well, you jumped ahead
I did, I'm sorry.
into the future, and that's where I was stuck. So basics, digital recorder, it's what you use in college. It's the newer version of the tape dictaphone things.
Wow.
I know. You wanted me to go back. I'm going back. So you don't need anything super fancy. As long as it records, you're good to go. This one does have 8 gigs built into it, which I have actually never used the whole thing. I had recordings on here for like 4 years.
That's pretty good.
Until it was like, hey, I'm not gonna do anything, and then I got that weird gibberish stuff
yeah.
I seen on my computer when I started to pull stuff off. So then I just reset it, and I had to reset it again recently. Why, I don't know.
So you'll have to do that sometime, maybe when you
depending
have
on one.
Yeah.
This one right here I think it was like $40. You can find them fairly cheap on Amazon, but read the reviews.
Definitely a must.
Yeah, read the reviews. Because some of them are just probably junk right out the gate. Mm-hmm. This one, I got it because it was metal. It wasn't like a plastic case. I've actually dropped this quite a few times, and it has not broken. So
It's true. We've yeeted it a couple times.
yeah, I'll miss my pocket, and it's on the cement, fun stuff. But yeah, so once you get it turned on, you'd hit record, obviously. And then, if you're, depending on the location you want to be in, you want to mark down any sounds that you hear. So say outside is a given that you're going to hear stuff. But if it's super close to, or I wouldn't say super close, but maybe like far off in the distance and you hear a dog bark, you'd be like, that was a dog.
Yeah. We usually make cars drive by. If you make a sound with your body
Or Kim's annoying coat.
my coat is a constant problem for Jeff if you've seen the videos. If I burp, because you don't want to think a burp is a demon later.
You don't. You don't. You don't. You don't want. You don't want that at all. What's nice though is what I would recommend, and this one's supposed to, but after having it for a while, apparently the speaker was like, "Hey, I'm not going to work anymore." But having one with the built-in speaker is nice. So say you're doing something and you want to just do like a minute-long burst, or you're going to ask a question and wait like 30 seconds and you're going to hit stop. That way you can go through, play it, and see if you can, hear something,
With
play
your
back
naked
in real
ear.
time. So maybe you're asking a question, how did you end up here, or, something along those lines, and maybe the answer you don't know, or at least somebody answered.
Right.
That way you can go back and play it. It might be hard to hear because you are fighting, ambient noise too.
Correct.
And anything that might be around. So just make sure that, it's as quiet as possible, or at least in the moment you're going to know exactly what it was that you might have heard.
And I guess like a selling point for some of them would also be like yours has a headphone jack.
Yup, mine has a headphone jack.
So you could put in your headphones and then you're not, like you can hear it a little better, because if you've ever tried to listen to a tape of just a quiet room, you might not hear it right away, but if you have a set of headphones on, you
Right.
can turn it up and it's
Yep.
right by your ear. So
Yep.
that's a good tip too.
Yep, and this also this one has a line in, so you can actually hook up like a microphone.
Oh, can I
like
put
you
my tiny
would.
microphone into it?
Probably.
It doesn't have the right hook, but that would be cool. Oh no, it does.
But yeah, like whatever you would say, you had like a headphone-ish style jack that you use in your computer or whatever, you can plug that right into there, or ones that you can use for your phones. Making a better microphone, so maybe you're not going to get as much, ambient noise,
Right.
like white noise, whatever it is.
Tracy has a question whenever you're ready.
What, Tracy?
She says, does it block out the background noise?
Depending on which one you get, you can actually find some that help block out the background noise. Like this one has that option, and I can set it to different levels. I think I have it at high. It helps a little bit, I think. Sometimes it just depends on where you're at, honestly.
So would you say that like that's a good thing to turn on to block the background noise?
Yeah, I would, because it'll help. It's going to help more, I think, with it's not going to help if like a car's driving by and they
Right.
honk, but like pedestrians walking and talking, not yelling but talking. I mean, it should cut most of that out, or at least some of that. So
But that's also when your marking can come in
but
handy.
but also mark it, because then if you're hearing something and you're like, I hear something.
Right.
Might be
Don't
those-
trust your
might be those
memory.
people.
That's
Yeah.
the number one thing too, like that I would say as a tip. Don't think, oh, I'll remember later when I go back and listen to that. I'll remember that there was a dog. I'll remember that there was somebody in the other room watching House of Cards.
That one was unforgettable.
So just if you hear something that is not paranormal, that even if you are questioning, am I going to think this is a ghost later or not? Just say it. Like if I bump into something, I usually just say that was me bumping something, and just mark it for yourself. Like that's the smartest thing that you can do.
Right. And try and keep it short too. Like
Yes.
if it was you, just be like me. Or, you hear somebody walking, but it's like people.
There's people, yeah.
That way, because they're not gonna not talk when you're talking.
That's
I've
a true
learned
story.
this. So if you keep your answers abrupt and not being like, oh, that was me hitting a table.
Right.
Like they could literally be talking over you, and you might know, but you probably aren't gonna hear what they say unless they're loud enough about it.
So I would say, like, what is, like, how would you go about, like, for people that have never done this before, if they were going to do a question and answer session,
All right.
that would be probably something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna, definitely in that route. Like, I mean, if you're gonna have it run, because sometimes we have it run for like 30 minutes, which I don't like, but I usually forget to stop and start it again. Yeah. So I mean, like this one, I mean, you got to be careful if you're gonna set it down on something hard, because the microphones are obviously gonna pick that up. And when you're listening, you don't want to blow your ears out.
True story.
So, try and set it down as gentle as you can. You're obviously still going to get some of that noise because the microphones are right there, but it's not going to be as bad. And you can hold it too. I mean, a lot of them have like a red light. So what I do is I'll ask it, I'm like, hey, I'm going to ask you some questions, feel free to talk into the, where this red light is. I mean, I usually have my camera going too, so I point them to that microphone as well, in case they don't want to get close. A lot of times though, I'll just hit record and I'll set it down, and then I'll take like, I'll go back like 5 or 6 feet, because you don't know who you're going to be talking to, if they're going to be shy, if they don't want, maybe it's something about males and it's a female spirit, maybe something happened to them, when they were alive and like they were abused by somebody, or, vice versa with a male, or you never know. So just kind of, if you don't think anything's going on, just kind of, put it down, take a step back. But yeah, always, if you can, I would definitely do a digital recorder. Don't use your phone, because your phone, even though it has a mic on there, you're not going to be able to try and block out noise.
And I wouldn't even know how to go about like transferring that to anything anyway.
Right.
So.
I mean, you could probably download an app that is like a, like a voice recorder. So if you were say in a class and you wanted to do it, you could.
True.
But I mean, that's for a class. I wouldn't use it for something where you're trying to get, voices that, are beyond. Because this way, hopefully they'll be loud enough that you can hear them. Even if you just put headphones in. Not always, though. Trust me, not always. If you've seen some of the videos, like I've had to enhance some of it, and then I start losing some of it, so I have to find a happy medium, so that it's there, it's legible, but also it's not sounding too distorted, as if, oh, I cleaned it up so much, like this is what I'm hearing.
Right.
Hearing now, because I've cleaned it up and it's just making like odd, like alien noises or something, whatever you want to say. But yeah, it's a good one. This one, like I said, it was $40. Just go on Amazon and look. You can find some that are, like 30. I wouldn't get anything that's super cheap. Like if you can stay above $20 at least. If you're really fancy like I was, stay above 30.
Very fancy.
Because that way you at least know that there's something there. And then, if there's a lot of reviews on it too, and make sure you look at the most recent reviews and not ones that have like been sporadic where they're just like, oh, these are the popular ones.
Right.
Make sure you look at the most recent ones.
So how long does the battery last on that guy?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I charge it up that much.
Okay. That's a good thing.
I think I actually went like a year or so without charging it.
That's
now,
not bad, 'cause we
granted,
use
that's
it a lot.
not. That's granted. We use it a lot when we're using it, but it's just sitting around, so the battery doesn't discharge. I can't say that's for all of them, but this one right here, yeah, I've gone like a year without charging it, and probably plus some, honestly, because I don't even think about it. And there'll be times that we're out and I'm just doing it. I'm like, oh crap! I'm like, is that battery gonna die? But it
Oh, yeah.
always seems to last.
Unless the spirits decide to drain the battery, which is a whole
or
other
mess
story.
with it. Yeah, because I've had that too. And then as soon as we're done, we're out somewhere. I mean, it's like, oh hey, look, the battery's back.
Right.
Like they just killed it. They're like, no, you're not using this.
It's
Screw you. But yeah, so I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
You were going to talk about how to do a question and answer session.
Oh yeah. Thank you. I rambled. All right, so question and answer. I mean, it's fairly simple in a sense. I mean, you're just gonna hit the recorder or hit the record button, and if you've already explained like why you're there, before you do it, which is probably a good idea.
And introduce yourself.
Yep. Just hit the record button, give it a second, ask your question, and then I would say wait at least 30 seconds. I mean, you could go up to a minute if you want to. That's fine. But if you go any longer, like there just might be dead space anyways. Like maybe you didn't get a response and you're going to be listening to it for say 5 minutes or, trying to pinpoint, this way you have maybe a full recording of like almost 2 minutes. 30 seconds say is you, and then you have like a minute and a half of like waiting for a response, or like a minute waiting for a response, stuff like that.
It also depends on the question. Like if it's a really
Yeah.
easy question,
Yeah.
like is anybody here? You can maybe wait a little bit less, but you always want to leave that gap.
Right, yeah. You don't want to rush it because they have to have energy to answer. So you being like, hey, what's your name? How did you die? I mean, there's not enough. Like by the time they can answer maybe one, it might be over top of you talking and you might be into your third question. So I usually do, if I can, like 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And that way it gives enough time, especially if it might be an elaborate answer. Not always do you ask a question and it's supposed to, and you're like, okay, it's like, I wouldn't say like a yes or no, but something like might just be a couple of words and then you get a full sentence.
True.
So if you leave that extra space, at least they'll have hopefully the whole time to answer however they want to answer.
And there might be multiple spirits too.
Yeah, there could be multiple spirits too, and then that's the chance that you're gonna run into also, because there's times when I'm looking back through the footage or listening to audio, I'll get an answer, and then I get the start of another one talking, but then I start talking because, I mean, I was only asking in general in a sense, but then not knowing that there might be more than one there, or that they're both gonna want to answer at the same time, and then it goes over top of me. And then I'm like, I'm saying this.
And you're trying to hear that other
I'm trying to
voice,
hear
yeah.
the other thing. And I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm really hearing. So that's when I take a guess. I try to cut out my voice too at sometimes, but sometimes it's hard. It's like, hey, here's your voice. But then, you lose some of because it's tied in with your voice, your wavelength. Then it's like, oh, well, we're going to take that away too. So it's like a hit or miss.
Right.
But yeah, it's nice and handy. I mean, you can do longer, than say a couple minutes if you want to. If you're in an area and you don't want to keep like stopping and recording, I mean, you can do it as long as you don't, you're not like, I'm going to listen in real time, because if you let it go 10 minutes, that's 10 minutes that you're there listening. And I mean, some of them, they, at least this one I know does, but you can fast forward and rewind. I can't say all of them do, but a lot of them that I've been looking at recently that definitely allow you to play back in real time. They have that function. They have the little speaker built in, so you can just, try and listen. You can turn the volume up as loud as you want or as loud as it goes, so you can try and hear it. And hope that you caught something, you get an answer to your question. you know, the fun stuff. Mm-hmm. And probably creep yourself out because that happens. That doesn't happen to me anymore. Like, I'll jump in excitement. I'm like, oh my God,
I got something.
But the first one I ever got, it made me freeze. Like, I was at my computer, I heard a little girl yelling my name, and I was like, and then it took me a second, and I rewound it a little bit, and I was listening, and then I froze again. I'm like, oh, what's going on? It was the little girl I was talking to. I stopped talking to her to talk to, you know, people in my group, and she wasn't happy about it.
Oh, well.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, she's not ever going to know that, but I'm sorry.
Right.
But she did answer my questions, though. So,
Well, she had other things to say, I guess.
yeah.
And that's the thing, too. Like, you can't necessarily, when you're asking questions and you're listening later, you might get, like Jeff said, something completely different. Not even anything you asked for. And that's happened to us on some of our videos. Or even when you're not asking questions, you can hear responses. And what some people, I mean, I've seen do is they also will just put it down and like walk around or leave the room for a little bit
Yep.
and just let the spirits say whatever they want to say.
Right. Or you just pick up, like, the ambience of the room, and maybe it's, you know, it's not intelligent. It's just lingering, you know, spirits and what they were doing there. And you might just catch them, say, in an office, and they're just... You know, maybe you'll hear a typewriter. Maybe you'll hear just, you know, some people talking. It might not mean anything to you, but that's like an indent that they left there. So that's always cool. I got some of that. That was pretty neat. If you go and watch the Coming Cemetery video, I have a lot of residuals.
Yeah, that's true. And then
that was really shocking. That made me do research.
That's true.
I've said that already before, but I mean, that's when I started doing research for everything else.
Right. So would you say too that when you start a session, you should like probably say where you are?
Yeah, if you're in a, I would definitely do that. Say you're in a, you know, like in my house, for example. You know, I'm doing something. I'd be like, okay, if I'm gonna do it in different rooms, I'm like, all right, I'm in the basement. You know, and then like, wait a second, start asking your questions, or if you're just like, I'm gonna leave this down here for a few minutes, you know, feel free to talk into it if you want to, you know, tell me your story, you know, whatever you guys want to, you know, whatever you want to say, feel free to do it. And then, you know, like my stairs, because I don't have carpet or anything on them, and they're old stairs, like they make a lot of noise. So
That's true.
I'm gonna know when I'm walking up those stairs, and I don't hear a lot of like noise anymore, that it's not me at that point. But I will usually say, like when I get to, you know, the top of wherever I'm at, and that's where I'm going to sit or be while I'm, you know, letting it run for like 10, 15 minutes. I'll be like, all right, I'm at the top, you know, or I'm all right, I'm in this room, so that I know where I'm at.
Right. Or like if you have other investigators that were in another room and now they're coming in, that's another thing that you should mark.
Yep.
Like, oh, here comes Kim. She's coming in and she's going to join me now.
Yep.
So that's like some things that we kind of do is be like, okay, now we're in Jeff's basement. It's me and Jeff. And
Right.
that way he knows who's there.
Yep. And I'll do it when I'm getting ready to come back too. The few times I've done it, I'm like, all right, I'm coming back in. And that way I know any noise leading up after that point is going to be me.
Yes.
At least a good 99% sure of the noise is going to be me.
You at least have that in your head when you're listening to the results to go, okay, that's not paranormal. That's just me.
Yep.
And that's saved us a couple times. Or like the other thing is too, like if you have other people with you, what Jeff will sometimes do is once he's, and this is jumping into the future, is when he's looking through the audio, he will sometimes send me a clip and be like, do you think this was you? Or what do you think this was? Sometimes he won't tell me what he is asking me to look for, so that I'm not biased. And then I'll be like, oh, that sounds like it was Rebecca, or I think that was Bubba in the other room doing something. Or
I've had to actually get me cleared up, because I'm like, that sounds like me, but I really don't remember saying that. And I'm like, was this me?
yeah. So it's true. And you do have to check yourself, because you don't want to do it all and then have your ghost actually be your fellow investigator or yourself. And
Right.
now you're showing either the people that you're presenting this evidence to, or just yourself for your own fun, something that isn't actually paranormal.
Right. Yep.
You also have to mind that these things, the speakers or whatever, if Jeff's holding it
microphones.
and he's moving his thumb around, he might make a noise.
Yup, and that's where like if you're still holding it and say you do something like you're like adjusting it in your hand, even if it's just really tiny, just make like a small note to yourself, just be like that was me wiggling it, or you know, just be like wiggling, and you know, train yourself on like say like the one word answers that you're gonna give. So if you're holding it, you know, wiggling, you're just like wiggled or
Right.
wiggle, and you're gonna know that that was you messing around and like maybe switching hands, you know, or just like fidgeting for a second because you just want to like get in a new position, you know, who knows.
Or I'm handing this to Jeff, I'm handing this to Kim,
yup.
so that you can listen later and go, okay, that was a normal noise. That was just the sound of the recorder and not a ghost.
Right. Yep. But yeah, I mean, these things are quite handy. I love them.
It's also good for making notes for yourself if you
Yeah.
think you hear something that is paranormal with your regular ears.
Yep.
You can go, I think I heard a person. I think I heard someone yelling. I think I heard singing, or
You know, it's like
whatever
there
the
was,
case may be.
there was shuffling. Like maybe you'll catch. Oh my god, I can't talk. Catch the shuffle, and maybe there's even a voice to go with it, or maybe what you thought was a shuffle is actually like somebody talking, but it was so low like your ears can't make it out. So there's always many possibilities.
Yeah.
You just have to make sure that you mark it for yourself if you know it was you, or if there was like a dog barking in the background, or
Jeff
you
and I have
know-
even used it to like take notes basically for ourselves. Like when we went to the graveyard, we were reading some of the gravestones.
Oh yeah.
And like spelling it so that like later when he went back to go read, you see the, you know, because it's hard to take pictures in the dark. To go like Bob Jones, let's look him up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. And I mean, it comes in handy for that too. So it doesn't just have to be, you know, I'm just going to catch EVPs with it. I mean, you use it in your real life. I mean,
True.
I mean, you can do whatever you want with it, but yeah, it's quite handy. I mean, a lot of the ones I see, like the speakers are here on the side. So, I mean, when you're holding it, you gotta, or not speakers, I'm sorry, the microphones. So if you're holding it, you gotta make sure you're not brushing up against it. Like this one, like you can only hold it to a certain point so that your hand's not resting on one of them. You know, some of them, they might be on top. I mean, they might be like a thing where it adds like a little bit of a width to it up here. I mean, they're different. When you look at them, you're gonna see the differences, and you can choose whatever one that you think, you know, is gonna suit your needs and stuff. But I know I dropped stuff, so
Yeah.
I wanted metal casing. That's all I wanted.
And I think it's also important to get to know it a little bit before you actually take it on your first investigation.
Yeah.
Like, not only to make sure it's charged and it functions, but that way you can go, well, if I do this, what happens?
Right.
If I rub it up, if I put it in my pocket, what does it do? Get to know it a little better. Read the owner's manual as much as you're capable of doing and make sense.
And just play with it.
And get to know your technology.
Yeah, because on this one, I mean, I've got a volume button and I have like an up and down button here, but everything else is based on the menu and the play button. So if I'm looking in the menu itself, like I can hit the M to cycle through, and it's been a while, but I think like if you're setting something, say you want the correct date and time on here, so that when you import into your computer, you're gonna know the actual date and time, and not have something where it's like February 1985, you know, like something
Right.
weird like that. And on this one, play is like enter, so, and then menu is to go back. You know, sometimes there's a thing where you can arrow up and down, but it can get confusing. So just kind of know like your buttons and where they're at, because I can do it without looking anymore.
Yeah.
And that way you're like, okay, you're done recording. Like mine asked me if I want to save it. Well, of course I want to save it. Why are you asking me that dumb question?
But if he were to say no, however long that he was just recording is now
it's gone.
gone.
Yep.
So that's another good reason to get to know it, like mess around with it at your house before you go, not necessarily ghost hunting, because I know a lot of people are too scared to actually like hunt at their own home for whatever reason. And that's fine. No shade to anybody that is too scared to do that. But even if you just are recording, this is me and I'm here in my house, and then you record it, play it back so you know how to use it, just mess around with a little bit before before you try to use it in the moment, especially in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're in the dark, and yeah, you might have a couple flashlights or whatever, but every time you turn on a light in the dark, your eyes are going to have to readjust.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, personally, I try to use as little light as possible. I'm used to the dark. I work in the dark. So, for me, the dark is not that big a deal.
Oh, and this one, it does have the LCD. I have it just turn itself off after like 30 seconds of me not pressing any buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I wanted to, though, I could actually have it so it stays on. So, I mean, you'd have a little light source right there, too. It's totally your call, and it depends on the device.
Well, and I think for this one, too, because like Jeff said, he does have it so that the display is not lit up. That's kind of a nice feature because it'll light up before it turns off.
Yep.
So I've noticed a couple times when we were on investigations that it will be sitting in the middle of the room, or we've put it down somewhere so that we're not like touching it and interfering with it a lot. You'll see the screen just go boop, and then you'll see it come off.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, hey Jeff, I think that just turned itself off. And then we can maybe go, oh, was that paranormal? Did the battery die?
Yeah.
Was it fully charged? You can then start trying to figure out if there's something else going on, and maybe that's something you need to investigate more. Because sometimes they do like to play with the technology.
They'll drain batteries, or at least make it appear like it's drained. Like they'll drain it enough so you can't use it. Mm-hmm. And then
Or just turn it off for fun.
Or and then when you're out of the area, like it's happened to me a few times on something. It was like, well, how dead is this thing? And I'll turn it on, the battery's fine.
That happened to us on Blood Road.
Yep. They did it a couple times there.
But
Yeah,
like
they killed but they literally killed the batteries.
They
though.
did.
They
A couple
drained the
of them.
batteries like crazy. Mm-hmm. Just on the GoPro thing though, it wasn't my camera was fine. They just apparently like, hey, this is easy prey. Let's do it.
So just like, yeah, kind of keep that in mind and maybe check on it every now and then to make sure it's still functioning like you want it to. But
Yep.
like Jeff has said too, you don't want to leave yourself giant bits of audio to have to listen to because you're only penalizing yourself.
You really are. I try and do at least 10-minute bursts. So like when I'm going through to listen to it, I know I can at least go through, however many clips as I want, but each one's going to be at least roughly like 10 minutes, 15 maybe at the most. And that way it's like, okay, I don't have to sit here for like an hour and listen or be like, okay, I'm done. I mean, yes, I'll save what I'm doing, but on the off chance that, say, the program wigs out and it's like, oh, closed unexpectedly, like, crap, where was I at? This way you can get through like 10 minutes. Well, I can get through 10 minutes. I don't know how many of you guys are going to actually do that, but like I can get through 10 minutes. And then if I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a break, like I can be done. I have everything done that I wanted to do, and I don't have to worry about a program being like, hey, screw you.
Yeah. And I was going to say, too, I think we said this before there was audio. If you guys have questions anytime, don't be shy. You don't have to type, I have a question. Just feel free to ask your question like Tracy did, because Jeff has been using this technology for a little while, and I've been doing this with Jeff for like a year now, 2 years actually almost. So to us, this is like old stuff.
Yeah.
So we might be skipping over a step that you're like, but wait, what then?
Yeah.
Please don't be shy. That's what you paid for. So
And just
don't
be like,
scared.
stop.
Just be like, this is it. This is my question. And don't be scared that we're going to be like, that's a silly question. That's literally why we're here tonight.
Yep. Sure are.
So yeah.
All right.
That was a little commercial break.
It is. Do you think we can proceed? Are there any questions about the digital recorder? I mean, you can ask later or in between.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I figured, maybe before we jump into the other part.
We'll give it a minute.
Yep.
Because they got to catch up with us.
That's very true.
Yeah. In the meantime, we have a commercial from Ghostly Hauntings. Go to our website. Buy our merch.
Just
And
do
don't
everything
forget
that those lower
to
thirds are
like,
suggestions.
subscribe, and share.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do
That's
whatever
what all the
lower
YouTubers
thirds
say.
have.
I'm just trying to be a cool YouTuber.
No, I know. I used to do it too, and then I got tongue-tied a lot, and I was like, screw this.
I just put the thing. But as we know from our other job, people don't like to read.
They don't. They don't.
So, okay. I think we're caught up because I'm
All right.
pointing.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yep. Go ahead.
All right. I was just double checking. All right. So yeah, so onto the K2 meter that Kim has.
I've been holding it up the whole time. Have you guys been seeing the lights light up? Mom says yes, she has. Good.
Now this, I can't necessarily say what it might be because Kim's phone is right there. My phone is here.
We have a lot of
turned on,
technology.
Yeah. The mics, and I mean, this isn't on anyways, but the mic is not going to do it. But I do redoing the basement. I mean, I have a light up here, even though it's not turned on, but I have these lights that are on, which is tied into this. And then I've got my side lights on over here. I mean, there's just electricity everywhere.
Yeah. So what is this? What does it do, Jeff? What's it measure?
So don't judge that. It judges the EMF, the
Electromagnetic field?
Yeah, thank you. Yep, that's it. And it does a good job. You can use it for yes or no questions. This I don't think you can find them any cheaper, but that was like $60.
And then this is pretty simple. There's an on-off switch.
Yep.
Right here. Off. On.
And then, I mean, if you're in a room and you're getting like weird spikes, kind of like probably what you've been seeing, you know, you want to move it around and try and find out what it is. Like this is kind of an enclosed space-ish, but I do have a lot of like electrical stuff going on. So it could be picking something up in the ceiling from like the lights or the wires running through. It might be my head, but most noticeably, you're probably going to be able to put it up to like an outlet and you'd be like, okay, yup, it's coming from this. I mean, you might not know which way the wires are going, but you know at least to a certain point. And then you're going to want to just try, if you're adamant about staying in there, you want to try and find a spot where you're not getting like any spikes. You just want to make sure that that one little green light is on.
Tracy says, do you put your phone on airplane mode so it doesn't set off the meter? I never have.
We never have, but I mean, honestly, like we found out that like if the screen is not turned on,
a lot of times it doesn't.
It doesn't affect it.
Like if I lock my phone, I'm going to try it. I'm going to show you. If I lock my phone, it doesn't set it off as much.
I mean, it's still going off
but
like
it still
crazy.
Goes off like crazy.
But
I'm just liar. I'm a liar today because that usually does not set it off. So what we usually try to do to avoid that is either if we're not using our phones actively in the investigation, we just try to keep them away. The only reason I usually have my phone on me is because like I have a kid at home. If there's an emergency, yeah, I know, right? That we will, I might have to go or whatever. But honestly, if he's not home, if he's at his grandparents' house, I sometimes will leave my phone in another room if I'm somewhere that is safe. The only issue with putting it in airplane mode also would be if we are using any apps on our phones.
Yeah.
If we're trying to use our phone to record, we like to have, or if we're going live on Facebook. There's a lot of different situations where we wouldn't like be able to put our phones in an airplane, but it is an interesting thing to try.
I never thought about that.
Because then, yes, you're not. You're not doing the technology
right?
As much.
Because I noticed too, like even if you turn your phone back on, I've noticed that.
Here we go, airplane mode. It's in airplane mode. And it's still.
Yeah, it's probably my basement though.
Well, yeah, but there you go.
But yeah, like I've noticed too that. You put it, I can have my phone on and that thing can be right next to it. It won't do anything. But as soon as, say, I'm like, oh, let me get on Google and I start typing or even launching that app, it'll start going crazy. Yeah. So it's just something, it's like a trial and error in a sense.
And yeah, you can try different things like Tracy suggested, airplane mode, and maybe it's also just all this technology that we have that I'm still going off.
Yeah.
We can try it when we're not in such a crazy area and see what happens. And we will report back to you on that one, Tracy, because it's not reliable right now because there's so much other stuff happening.
Yes.
And that's the other thing, too, to keep in mind when you're using this is... do be mindful of your surroundings and think like if there's electricity, this is going to pick it up. And just because you don't see the electricity, and you know what I mean, just because you don't see a source of electricity doesn't mean it's not there.
Right.
Even out in the middle of the woods, you can have power lines nearby. You can have a transformer nearby that
Yeah,
you don't even know.
transformers, I think it would be more likely than the power lines. I guess it just depends on if it's like one of those giant towers that's got
Correct.
like 5 or 100 of them like going through it all at
Yeah.
once.
There's even ones that look like trees now, so you can't even
yeah.
trust a tree anymore.
I know. But yeah, you just want to make sure. So if you can walk around a few paces, like say a few feet, either direction, and it's not doing anything, you're good.
Yeah.
Maybe if you get like one little blip, like stop where you see it and wait a few, say like 30 seconds or something. And
He's being relatively quiet now. It's like, no, I'm
damn
not.
it, Kim, you distracted me.
Sorry, Jeff.
And hold it for say 30 seconds to see if it stops. If it keeps going, then maybe you got close to something. Maybe walk from there, go like straight,
Trying
to
to
the
have
left, to
see
the
it.
right.
My
And
watch sets it off.
it could be your watch.
I forgot I have a fancy watch.
I told you it was Kim.
So there is
If, it,
now
if it's
holding
not her,
it in
if
my
it's not
fancy
her
watch
coat,
hand.
it's her fancy watch.
Nope. I don't know.
Well, it was.
It was, but see, and that's the thing too. You have to
You have to figure it out.
figure it out, and that's part, like the biggest part, like about the kind of investigating, at least that Jeff and I try to do, is you don't automatically go, oh my god, it's a ghost. You gotta go, okay, so is this reacting to the phone? Is it reacting to my watch? Is it reacting to the microphone? Is there something? And we've even asked people, like, do you have something else on you that could be setting this off? And they're like, oh, I forgot I have my like work phone in my pocket.
Yeah.
I have 2 phones and I forgot about one of them.
Yeah.
You have to kind of think about that stuff too, especially like we've investigated to haunted attractions. There's a lot of electricity in there that you have to take into account. Even if you're in an abandoned building, there might be
There might be
electricity.
something.
There
I
might be
mean, I guess it
something.
depends on how old it is, honestly.
Depends on how abandoned it is.
Yeah. I mean, if it has like a light fixture outside, maybe. Like there's just a random light on at night. I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot of different situations, and you kind of have to use your best judgment about whether you're going to think that this is paranormal or really just normal.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, it's good. It's honestly trial and error. You just have to figure out, make sure that whatever is setting it off is not anything surrounding you.
And
And then
put it where you can see it.
yeah. And then
I'm gonna try to tip it so that both of us can see it. Because I'm trying to have it so that they can see the lights.
no,
going
I
off.
understand. I was just looking.
You're good. So
I know
basically,
I'm
you
good.
can do like yes or no with this.
Yeah.
Only pretty much, unless you could say like, put it up to red if you
Yeah.
really like turtles, and
Yeah.
they could be like, turtles are my favorite.
And then
Yeah,
it goes
but-
red.
Yeah, but,
But yeah, I usually do yes or no. I mean, I try not to be like, oh, no blips mean no, because you want interaction. But yeah, I'd be like, take it to orange or yellow if it's yes, and then like just make it blip like that second green light if it's a no. Just to try and get interaction. I mean, it doesn't say that they're not going to be stubborn about it though.
right. Tracy says, would power lines usually go to a steady number instead of jumping up and down?
I mean, on this, it's hard to tell because there's no numbers necessarily.
Well, I mean,
mean,
maybe
there
just the same
is.
color.
Right. I mean,
basically is
it
what she means.
could. I mean, it could. I mean, we haven't really run into that all
The
that
only
much.
time that we did investigation of the power lines was that bridge that we went to.
Yeah.
But it really didn't seem to affect
Yeah.
this that much. So basically, right now, whatever I'm getting, I wouldn't trust as anything
Right.
paranormal, even though I was making jokes to Jeff earlier that I was talking to his ghosts.
They don't like to react to the K-2 meter anymore. I got too much fancy stuff.
Yeah,
I ask them and they're like, "No, screw you."
But Jeff, one of the investigations that we haven't edited and posted yet, Jeff and I were directly under power lines, and we didn't really notice that it was affecting
Yeah.
this that much. So you have to go on a case by case basis. If you're seeing a big jump in this, it's not staying at a steady like light. just look around you and see like
Yeah,
what
I mean,
could it be? Is there a
could
specific
be,
area?
I mean, it could be a flux. I mean, you could be, say, in my basement, you're by an outlet, and it's giving off a tiny bit, and then, say you move just a tiny bit back, and then, or maybe you are in an outlet and it's been steady at, say, a color, for, the few seconds you've had it there, and then it's like starting to jump a little bit. Well, it might mean that the wiring is not done correctly, one.
True.
Um,
So I think that's what these were originally meant for,
Yeah.
electricians.
Yep. It might mean that it's not wired correctly, which, well, that sucks, but hopefully you're the only one that knows about it. Or, maybe you're by a breaker, a breaker box, and you don't know it. Maybe, I mean, if it's your house, you're going to know it. But if you're somewhere, somebody else's house, or, like some business or something like that, I mean, you might not know. So
And that's why
what's
legends-
your, say you pick something up and you're like, oh, that's an outlet, and you're down there just checking it, but maybe it does spike a few times. I mean, you're going to have to kind of look and be like, oh, am I buying anything else? Because it could either be the outlet is just not, and especially if it's in an old building, I mean, it's not probably going to be wired correctly anymore anyways. Corrosion has got to it or whatever.
True story.
But yeah, you just want to make sure that there might not be something else around there that's causing that. So, I mean,
And one thing you can do is if
But
it's safe and you're allowed to do so, is just turn off the breakers.
yeah.
Or have the homeowner or whoever do that
I mean,
for you.
yeah, in a sense, I think if you left it by something, and you held it there and it just stayed, I mean, it should stay a constant light. I mean, it shouldn't, I mean, the light itself might flicker a little bit, or what I like to call is
Like this
blip,
is-
but it bouncing back and forth, it really shouldn't do that unless there is,
Like it's doing.
yeah, like well, it's because it's getting hit by like every different
But
direction.
yeah, so I was gonna say this is a bad example because there is stuff coming at it from all directions, which is why it's going crazy like this. So that's like Jeff said, you wouldn't necessarily be like,
Yeah,
able to
I
trust
couldn't-
any
I
answer you
couldn't-
get.
I couldn't do it, but yeah, it's a handy device. I mean, if you're starting out, I would definitely recommend that for sure. Like I said, it's the cheapest I found when I buy is like $60. I did it on Amazon. If you check out any of those like ghost hunting webs, like store sites, they're going to charge you a little bit more, obviously, because it's going to be the same thing. They've just bought a lot of them from Amazon.
right.
And so they're charging like 10 or $20 more or something. So you don't ever pay more than 60.
So that's a good
don't
tip
pay
too, yeah.
don't pay like super super cheap either, in case there are some, because that means that it's probably not gonna work correctly. It's just probably like some
A money grab.
junk.
Anything that was originally some other kind of technology that has been appropriated by ghost hunters, you're going to be able to find some cheaper on a non-ghost hunting website.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that you're not going to be able to necessarily find other places. We'll get into those at another time.
Yep.
But for the K-2, you can literally just go buy it on Google Shopping or Amazon or whatever. It's going to be the same thing.
Oh, and I want to point out too, just because Kim was
I'm Italian.
moving it and hitting it, you have to be careful too, because they are sensitive. So you could be holding it and say,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
you have your digital recorder, which I'm going to get into, and say you're going to set it like right by, like in your hand.
Oh, we're getting a call. It's okay. I'm not.
Our
mad at you.
live audience is not being very cooperative.
But yes, it is true. We have noticed on
Shut the
investigations.
door.
Mom, shut the door. For
Okay.
I'm Italian.
Shut the door.
I talk with my hands a lot, and if you move this while you're talking or
Especially
walking around,
really fast. Like you can
it
walk
will-
around with it. But yeah, if you let me see.
It just
It's
went up
like
a couple
you
times.
can do this and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're like making jerk moves, like it's gonna go up, and if somebody's around
It's the only
you,
kind of moves I make, Jeff.
I know.
Jerk moves.
I know. You do this, and then you're gonna see a little bit, and you're gonna be like, oh, just know that you're gonna, when you move it fast, like you're gonna get
It's
something.
the lights are gonna go on.
Okay, thanks. And then
So just be mindful of that, so you don't.
and then if you tap
Yeah.
it, say you're going to put it down, you didn't
Yeah.
realize like you maybe dropped it a little farther, but you're like, oh man, it went. No, you you dropped it. So
Right?
just be careful. Like you gotta kind of like the digital recorder. You gotta kind of set it down gentle. I mean, I would do
Or
it
just
anyways
know,
because
hey, I just put it down.
yeah. I mean, I would do it gentle anyways because I mean,
Technology. Be nice to
it's
it.
not got sweet shields around it
Man, that would be cool.
and it's not gonna get hurt. Like
Tracy's
it'll get
just
hurt.
blooper reel material. I keep telling him, Tracy, we're gonna have a really good blooper reel one of these days,
Yeah,
and then
someday.
like a song of just all my burps.
Yeah, or a song to our likes and whatever. Like, which we probably have done a lot in this
So
one
many,
too.
and we're not sorry.
But anyway, if you go back, I'm gonna turn this off.
Do it.
So anyways,
It's off now, so you
if
won't see lights.
Yeah. See. So with the two of them, they
harder
go.
to see
It's
now.
kind of nice to go.
It's harder to see
Alright.
now because the background's black.
Oh,
There you go.
well, all right, I'll just turn the lights back on.
Okay. Brain fart.
Yeah,
You were talking about lights.
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
I remember.
Dude.
So if you've got both of them, they go hand in hand nicely because you have obviously the way that you are going to record audio if there is any, but maybe you're not sure and you want to run it longer than like a couple minutes and you want to do like 10 and you're maybe going to listen to it later on or something. Like you can set it. What I do is I set it down. I might set it next to each other. I've been known to like set it on top of it, or I'll just like lay it on there because when you're talking, you're gonna be like, hey, if you want to respond into that tiny red light. Well, if you're getting, say, you're asking yes or no questions, it doesn't mean they're not gonna like fully blown answer you in a sense, but as say something is messing with this, you can also be getting like an EVP at the same time because they don't know when you're going to listen to it unless you specifically say. But I mean, chances are they might not even care. But yeah, so they can make this spike by you asking yes or no's. But you can also get responses at the same time. Say it's just like flickering a little bit. You can't really get a yes or no. I mean, there might be a chance that they're just talking into this thing. So at least, if you see this spike, you could get something. So then what I would do is be like, ooh, that spiked, like just after I answered a question, just be like spike. And then you're going to know that this at least went up a little bit. I mean, if you wanted to be like, instead of spike, be like yellow, so like where
how
it
hard
went.
the spike was.
Or you'd be like, ooh, I wouldn't say ooh, it'd be like red.
I say ooh all the time.
I know you do. Just be like red. And that way, like I would wait like a few seconds too.
Absolutely.
But if you just want to do it really quick, be like red.
Especially if you're not recording like video.
Yeah.
It is good to make a verbal note of
Yeah.
We had a spike. However you want to note that for yourself, you can come up with your own language. You can make up all new words if you want to. You're the one that's ghost hunting.
Yep.
As long as you know what you're saying later,
Yep.
it doesn't matter. Like you could say it was a full rainbow. Nobody cares. It's for you,
I mean, I would just keep the wording short. Is all I'm
Absolutely.
saying. But me personally, if I can spit it out quick enough, I just might, I could have been like red.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that you're potentially not cutting them off either.
That's true.
So maybe, if it's still kind of constantly flickering a little bit, it might not be at red anymore. And then it dies off. Just be like red, afterwards, hoping that they're done talking. And then, just before that, or, the stuff before that was a red spot.
To like maybe listen to that part of the tape a little bit more because maybe you are gonna, like Jeff said, maybe you might get an EVP at the same time.
Right. And they like to talk. I mean, they're not going to stop because you're talking.
Absolutely
so.
not. They don't even stop when each other are talking. So
They don't.
But basically, like I would say, what you would do is when you're going into a room or an area, is do a quick walk around with the K-2. Make sure you're not sitting yourself in an area where there's a big spike or like something like we had talked about earlier, where
Right.
it's always going up and down, because that's just going to interfere with any like evidence that you get.
Yeah.
So you're going to sit in kind of an area where it is either like the first green or at most the second green.
It's gonna always be that first green / blue.
Yeah.
It has a blue on the label, but it's honestly just green.
It look yeah,
Like,
it's like a turquoise,
It's like green.
teal.
So that's always going to be a constant light. So anything
just means
beyond
it's
that,
on.
yeah, that's basically, hey, we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Anything beyond that is going to be either, I mean, it's picking up some type of EMF. So, obviously, like we said,
picking up
make
energy of some kind, yeah.
make sure that where you're at, there's not like anything that could be tripping it off.
Your watch, your
Yeah.
phone, your camera,
Kim's
your
loud coat.
My coat does not send
know.
off EVPs.
I know, I don't like that coat though.
Or not EVPs, EMFs. It has plenty of EVPs.
It
though.
does. It can cause some.
But my coat's full of secrets.
It is. But yeah, so hand in hand, I mean, these work really well.
Or like I usually have like a backup battery for my phone.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Just keep that in
Yeah.
mind. What you have on you that's going to give off electricity, and what anybody with you is going to have on them that's going to set off
Right.
have
Yeah.
electricity. And like Tracy said, something to try is maybe to put your phone in airplane mode, and we are certainly going to try that, Tracy.
Yep.
Jeff and I have an investigation coming up, so we're going to try that. But to know your surroundings is obviously the first step anyway to a successful ghost hunt, because you don't want to fall into a hole.
Right.
But it's happened.
It's happened.
But to know where the electricity is going.
I mean, it wasn't just Kim, but it was also Anna.
Yeah, Anna and I fell into a couple of gopher holes one time. That was fun.
I was good.
Jeff was like,
Because I
But,
had my camera on. I had my night vision,
yeah.
so...
But like if you watch our Cummings cemetery video, we pretty much knew that that was a blank area electricity wise, because we went around, we looked around, we got our surroundings. We said there's nothing around here that would cause, we were far enough away from houses, the car. If you're in your car,
We
that's
were-
gonna set it off.
Yeah, I mean, we were literally like
in the middle of nowhere.
It was,
And
I mean, it was
some of you have
nowhere,
been
but it
there,
was like
so-
it was like farms. So I mean, farmland, I
Mm-hmm.
should say. So there really wasn't anything that could have set it off. And so when we were, actually using it, like when we got hits, we knew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think even before we really checked, like we turned it on and we were just using it, and it was just like it was that constant light, and then it would just like spike when there was an answer.
Yeah, so you'll see like a steady light, and if it's hovering at one light, you know that you can then you can start asking questions. And if it starts spiking, what we usually do if it's a location we've never been at is also say, we explain what the device is.
Yeah.
And that's very important, I think, for any piece of equipment you're going to use, especially if it's a location that hasn't been over investigated.
Yeah.
Is to say, first of all, introduce yourself, which we've already mentioned before, but say this is a device that's going to measure energy. It's not going to hurt you. You can get up to it. The lights aren't going to be, anything that's going to hurt you.
And use
you
your
can
phone,
influence
like
it.
literally use your phone to just demonstrate, and
Yes.
then they get the gist of it.
So I think that's important to be understanding, because if this person is from a time before any of this, that could be very scary when you think about it. Like if somebody from the future were to come in with like a big old piece of equipment that you've never seen before, you would probably be like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, that they might not know unless it's like a place, like I said, that's been heavily investigated. But even then, it's just polite.
Well, it is, and then they give you sass. It happened to me.
It's true. Sometimes they're like,
I was doing a prelim, and I figured I knew there was a lot of people there, and I was just like, I turned it on, I set it down. I'm like, I don't know if you know what this is, and I had started to explain, and in the middle, it was just like, yeah, we know. And I was like,
the machine the thing spiked, or they verbally
no,
said
like
that?
they verbally said it in the spirit box, because that's what I busted out, and they're like, yeah, we know, and I was like, my bad.
Yeah, so if you get somebody that already knows what they're doing, you don't have to go through like, this is how you work it.
Yeah.
And I would say if you go on a big ghost investigation at a location that is heavily investigated, you might not need to explain it. But Jeff and I have been a couple places where nobody's investigated to our knowledge. So we would say, this is a piece of equipment. It just has lights on it. You can influence these lights by coming close to it and using your energy. It's not going to hurt you. You can indicate yes or no by doing this.
Yep.
It might bring the light up. And if they're really confused, you can also say, please bring it up to yellow. Please bring it up to whatever, and get more specific with them.
Yeah, because sometimes that one
needed.
green light after the other green light is just not enough.
The second green light is not, like Jeff, it's not always
if
reliable.
if you can kind of get it to blip a little bit, when you're asking a question, maybe, but it's always better to have them be like, okay, yellow's for no, and then like orange or red's for yes. I mean, and you kind of got to base it on where you're at too. If it's at a spot where there hasn't been heavily traffic or there's not any way of like an energy buildup in a sense, like they're not going to have the energy probably to do that unless they're like, hey, there's your phone. We're going to take your battery.
Fair.
And hope that they are not like, hey, there's your car. It's got a lot of juice.
And then the other thing that Jeff and I've also run into is at investigations that locations that he and I have been to frequently or have been investigated a lot. They don't want to play with the little kid toys. And that's no insult to the K-2. They just want the spirit box. They want the dowsing rods. They might not be able to communicate with you or want to communicate with you using this particular device.
Yeah.
And some of them are just sassy because these are people.
Yep.
And some of them just got attitudes.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
Well, especially when
It's not anything bad.
you have better stuff. So here, I tried it like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to hold the dowsing rods. So I was busy doing something, and I just wanted to get it was when I was doing voiceover work, and I was just getting those random like voices, and some of it I knew, some of it I wanted to get clarification. So I busted this out. I'm like, okay, can you just spike it? If I'm spike it high if I'm correct, or just spike it in general. And it was just kind of like that solid light, and then there was like a little spike, and then I couldn't get anything from it. And I'm like, fine. So then I just busted out one of those candles, because I couldn't like edit and dowsing rods at the same time. So because I didn't want to like keep breaking that connection, so I got out the candle, which are specifically Emily candles, the two that I have in my house. But I was like, you guys can use them.
Right. So I would say too, like if you have other equipments, and this one isn't doing anything, maybe try something else.
Yeah.
Try, especially like I said, if you're somewhere that either you are super familiar with, you go to a lot. Jeff and I are lucky enough to keep being able to go back to some locations. But that's also a double-edged sword for us because, yes, they're familiar with us and they're used to us, but they're familiar to us and used to us.
Yeah.
Like, they know what we have. They know what we have in the box. They know that we have the Ouija board. They know that we have the spirit box, dowsing rods, all the toys that we have. They know what we have. And some of them aren't going to want to play with the K-2. So just keep that in mind.
They do. They don't. Like, no, we know.
We know we're not gonna play with that. So it's not necessarily that it's not haunted or not. Don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's that they might not want to use that, or they might not be comfortable using it. Also.
Right. Yeah. So have like a couple gadgets. I mean, if you're just starting out, just be like, this is what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. And what Jeff and I have also done is this is all we brought with us today.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk to us, this is what your options are.
Right.
Now, we always are polite, of course, if we're especially in an unfamiliar location.
Yeah.
There are some ghosts we know we can yell at, and it'll be fine. But other ones that's like, let's not mess with that one. But if you're somewhere new, if someone comes barging into your house and starts acting like a jerk, waving some machinery around, you're not going to talk to them. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. But if you're starting out, this is probably your best two things to have, right?
Yeah, I would go. That's what I used for the longest time until I had money to buy some other stuff. But even when I had a couple of those things, I still used that the most. Especially with my camera, because I would know. I wouldn't have to physically be like, oh, it blipped. I would just know, because what I would do, just because I am in the TV world and the video world in general. So if you're going to sync up audio from two different sources, it's usually easier to do, like some noise. So I'll just clap. And then that way I know that from that point on, I can easily just get the video sunk up instead of being like, oh, crap. I mean, I try not to do it, verbally anymore, because there's a sweet option in my editing program. But sometimes it wants to be a dick. And like, yeah, we're not doing that. Why? Why are you not doing that?
It doesn't want to.
So yeah, like I mean, I don't know how many of you are going to do it right away, but yeah, I just do it to usually sync it up. And that way I have both audios going at the same time.
So that's just like you can listen basically for the moment, like that the clap happens on both devices at the same time, so that you know that you're listening.
And then you'll know like which one's the digital recorder, because not necessarily is the camera. I mean, a lot of people just use like consumer cameras are not gonna be like the greatest microphones on there.
Good.
So that way you'd have that, you can sync it up and be like, okay, this is the digital recorder, so you can watch it and be like, ooh, yeah, that's right, that was a spike, and then you can mess with it and whatever you want to do. But yeah, as a starting thing, like this is what I had. I bought this first, and then I was like, I'm tired of not having anything else, and then I bought this. And then from there, I bought a few other things. But even after I bought a couple things, it was just like primarily
these are like your basic number 1, number 2 for ghost hunting, for paranormal investigating, whatever you want to call it.
And it's cheap. I mean, these two combined is still less than say some gadget that's maybe close to like what this is. And you don't really need just yet. Just get the hang of this, because when you start to branch up, they're a little bit more. I don't want to say difficult, but they're a little bit more like demanding.
Technologically demanding, yeah. And I would say also, if you've watched any of our videos before, you know that like Jeff and I are very skeptical about apps. There are apps that claim to do EMF, but there's no scientific basis for that working.
Your phone is not set up to detect EMF when it's technically producing its own. So that's like
that's why your phone sets it off, because it has an actual electromagnetic
like
field.
Double-edged sword there in a sense. I mean,
so definitely be wary of that. Like if you really want to do EMFs and you want to check it out, or you want to start with like a low-level device and you want to see if it works, you could just buy the cheapest one that you could find on Amazon, and it's going to be fine. Tracy had a question. Tracy says, she said she's going to go back to the cemetery. Obviously, once things thaw and aren't so gross out.
Yeah, we've been there twice.
We've been a couple times. It's fun. She said, I would like a spirit box and a digital recorder together. We do that. Yes, we do use
and that's nice, because, you're not going to catch everything in real time.
It is important, I think, we've done that before, to record our spirit box sessions, because unless you have someone there actively taking notes, which doesn't always work out,
usually at all.
Yeah, at all. We've tried it. It wasn't that great. Is to be able to go back and listen and be like, okay, because you might never remember, you hear one thing. And if any of you guys have watched any of our videos, which I know Tracy has, Jeff has had a couple where we think in real time that they're saying one thing.
Yep.
And then when he goes back to listen to it, it's a completely other thing.
Yep.
So going back and listening when you're not all hyped up and in the dark and ghost hunting and spooked out or whatever, is definitely a nice tool to have. And then you can write down things that are important. And if you are returning to that, maybe you have a name. Maybe you have some information.
Yep.
Maybe you have other data or questions that you would like to ask. So like if it's like Cummings Cemetery, we know we want to go talk to so-and-so. Yep. We know that at this other place that Jeff and I went, there was just one really cool dude that we want to go back and talk to. We know that we've made friends. Huh?
I said there's another one too. But
whoa. We've made friends with a certain ghost, or we know you don't go into that area. Because we were told don't go in there.
Oh, we were told.
We were told stay away from this guy's area.
We weren't even gonna go inside. Like we asked if they thought it would be okay if we went over there, and I can't remember what the response is offhand anymore.
It was like, hell no, get out.
No, they
don't
were
do
just
it.
like, I think they were just like, don't go in.
Don't go, yeah.
Yeah,
something
don't.
Like that. It was very clear.
Yeah,
don't
it was
too.
just like, don't go, because it was a mausoleum. They're like, just don't go in, and we're like, okay, we weren't gonna, but that's thanks for just saying something. And then somebody else had said, just I think it was like, be careful or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we went over there anyways.
Well, because they hadn't told us to not go
Right,
over there yet.
Right, yeah. But I mean, I had the spirit box. I mean, I got the spirit box out, and just as I'm turning it on, I'm like, "Hey, is there anybody that wants, that would like to talk to us?" And I had turned it on, got it all set up, set it down. And I think it was no more than like 10 seconds had I set it down and stood back up that there was a voice that was just like, "Go away."
Mm-hmm. It just was very clearly telling us to not be in this area.
And I was just like, okay, yeah, we'll go. I just thought maybe one of you guys would want to talk to us, and they were just like, get out of here, or they were like, leave, or something like that.
Yeah, they were very serious
like,
about.
They weren't like, leave or we're gonna kill you type of thing,
No.
but they were just like, no, go, like, don't come back here.
So you could have
now.
maybe a situation where if you want to go back, like there's some places that are just open and you can go back whenever you feel like it. You don't have to have permission from people or whatever. You could have a little notebook where you note down specific things that you hear or things that you experience or areas that you shouldn't go into. And that's when going back and listening when you're not in such a heightened state is also going to help you to go, okay, that's not an area we want to go to again.
Right. Yep. But like if you hear something in the moment, especially if it's something like you never expected, I mean, it's going to be memorable.
Heck yeah.
Just like the one, he was just like, yeah, we know. I'm like,
Never
my
mind.
bad.
Excuse
I'm sorry.
me.
I was just checking. And then it wasn't like they were angry or upset. They were just like, yeah, we know. Oops.
Oh, see, this is what we talk about though.
Yeah,
It almost went off the
I
counter.
dropped stuff.
That's
You
why
put like a little
we're about to
wedge.
demonstrate why we have a metal.
Don't want to demonstrate.
And it's also, I want to point out too, Jeff's recorder is white, so that when you put it down in the dark, you can see it.
Yeah,
What?
I mean,
I don't
that's
think he
not,
planned it, but
that's
it's
not
nice.
really the reason why I got it.
But
I think
it's
there was
nice.
a black one too, but the white one was cheaper for some reason
there you
by
go.
like $5 or something bucks, and I was like, white's fine.
Yeah, so something to think about too when you're looking at is if the white one's cheaper. If you feel like black more, it might be worth your time to get the white
'Cause,
one.
I mean, you're always gonna see it because it should always have like a light on to record.
True.
So
Unless it
what?
dies.
What is going on over there?
Her back hurts.
Well, that too, but no, I was just, are you gonna do a little demonstration with your thingy now?
We can demonstrate a
Question
thingy.
to see if it'll light up with an answer.
Oh well, but it's
This I can't just because it's constantly going off, and I don't know if it's the electricity or not in here.
but
I wanted to, but yeah, I can't.
But there's lots of videos on our channel where we
Yeah.
use the K-2. So since we can't do a reliable
I can do it
demonstration for you
upstairs
guys,
before you leave.
because we can't trust anything that's happening right now, you can go onto the YouTube page that you're already on and go watch some of our videos. We use this thing pretty much in every one. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking to the audience too.
I'll demo it upstairs for you.
But yeah, we'll definitely, we have a investigation coming up where we will be live and we can do a demonstration for you guys then too.
Yep.
So sorry about that. We didn't think about like that
Well,
part.
I
didn't.
I didn't honestly think it was going to be an issue, but I also wasn't thinking about the device in general. I'm like, hey, is everything set up and ready to go?
Yeah. True.
Clearly not.
Well,
So
it's always something.
I apologize for that.
We do feel, mad about that, but we can't always control technology, unfortunately.
Right.
So did anybody have questions about this guy, our friend
Or either of
K2,
them.
or
Or do you have comments
shorter
about my
friend.
sweet TV right here?
Jeff and that TV? Yeah, live investigation. If you go to our Facebook page, there's information there about our upcoming live investigation. And then maybe we'll go live on Facebook for a little bit too, one day
Yeah.
next week. Because
Yep.
we will be on a location, but we're not going to give away details or
Yeah,
location.
not at the moment.
Because we don't want a bunch of people showing up there.
Right.
Not you guys, but other people. So yeah, we'll keep watching the Facebook page and the YouTube for updates on that.
Yep,
but
yep.
if you go to our
And then-
Facebook page, Ghostly Hauntings, we have a picture up there. Tracy, you commented on it earlier.
Yep, and we are part of that event that's going on
Next weekend, a week from this
next
weekend.
weekend. Mm-hmm. So definitely check it out. I mean, it's a lot of like Halloween vendor-ish type stuff, but we're there, so
Yeah.
you can click around. I don't even know what it's gonna look like, but it
gonna be
sounds
cool.
kind of cool.
So yeah, if you go to our Facebook page, it's a Fear Expo. So
Yep.
just look for that and look for more information.
Yep.
And then we'll also be putting out some more as it gets closer.
Yep.
But Jeff and I are gonna go do a nice little investigation
Yep.
for that. But it's free.
It is.
Tracy's
the
just like,
virtual thing.
yes,
no,
the
she
virtual
had,
thing.
yeah, she already was like, ugh.
But this is virtual.
True, but this would have been virtual no matter what.
Right, but she probably wouldn't have gone to a Halloween haunted house convention.
No, but I mean, if it was in like a
But,
center
yeah,
of some kind,
maybe.
like
But
like
yeah,
a-
we will
like
probably-
Pirani or whatever the hell it's called now. But
We will probably do like a little bit of a little video for you guys
Yeah.
Separate from that.
Yeah.
Because we'll be there anyway, why not?
right,
And then, but yeah, I guess more importantly,
Those.
questions.
Are there questions?
I don't want to cut anybody off that
No,
actually has questions.
that's why I'm just letting it run over since we were probably like 15 minutes late.
Yeah, and we want to
anyways.
compensate for the time that our technology was not technologing.
What?
30 minutes?
I was 30 minutes late?
Yeah, when I looked at the clock, it said 7:30.
Damn, I'm sorry, guys.
Well, it was only supposed to go till 8:30, right? So we can go.
Yeah.
We'll just go till 9 instead.
Yeah. That's my bad. Well, it's
It
my bad,
was-
but not
yeah.
my bad.
It was kind of a bad technology. We don't really fully understand what happened yet,
Yeah, I don't know why, because it was supposed to go live like the moment that it hit that time.
but
So
it obviously didn't.
I'll
but-
have to do some digging. I don't know. Apparently,
guess-
I don't understand it.
So far, no questions. But these are your number one and your number two
Mm-hmm.
for your basic ghost hunting kit.
Yes.
And then after that, you can start upgrading. And we are going to have more workshops coming up.
Yep.
So you
There's
talk
actually it's
about
on
that.
screen right now.
What? What a good timing!
I know. My mom is excited about that one.
Yeah. I'm excited to get poked by dowsing rods.
I know. I think I put that in the description too.
So when is that?
The 14th of next month.
Okay. I just can't see the numbers from this
It's
far
the
away.
second. It's the second Wednesday. I believe it's the 14th.
I'll be here. Where we're going to be demonstrating just dowsing rods.
Yeah, I think just dowsing rods.
We might just throw some more in there if we have some time, but dowsing
Might
rods
throw
is the
in like a
plan.
pendulum or something too. I know, but I'm just saying.
I mean, we'll have to
I mean,
borrow
not-
one. We'll have to borrow
no,
one
I
from
actually-
Anna.
I
You
have.
have one? Okay. Okay.
That's gonna be a different one.
We'll do a full Ouija board down the road. But we do plan on doing
That one will have to be off location though somehow.
Oh, true. Well, or just
I
talk to
can't.
them.
No,
We won't actually be. We won't actually. We'll
that's
figure
true.
it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But yes, we do plan on going through basically
You're gonna have to
all Jeff's toy collection.
Yep, and I got new
And-
ones
And we have
coming
new
soonish.
stuff coming.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm really excited.
But yeah, basically, if you are just trying to get started and you want to just have like under $100 to spend,
Yeah, don't like I said, don't go to those websites because you can
Don't do
buy
it.
like kits. You're gonna
yeah.
spend less money buying those
That's
two
silly.
individually, and they'll be like, "Oh, you get a free flashlight." I'm sure you have a flashlight.
I have so many flashlights, Jeff.
I mean, I don't want to be like a dick towards them because they do have cool stuff. But when you can get
No
that
shit,
on
right.
on Amazon cheaper, and we all know I love Amazon
We
because I
do.
talk about it a lot.
We're big fans.
Yeah, might as well save you some money.
Definitely,
And-
anytime you can save money but still get a quality
Yep.
piece of equipment,
Yep.
do so. But like Jeff said earlier, to hit on it is very important to read the reviews.
Yep.
I know it's going to take a little extra time, and some of them don't always make sense, and some of them are just because somebody's being spiteful for whatever reason. But
Yeah, a lot of them are just complaints like shipping was horrible. That's not the way to.
Okay, cool. That has nothing to do with the product. So take some extra time, look for the reviews, read them through, and especially if it's somebody that seems like they know what they're talking about.
Right.
If they're like, oh, it wouldn't do this, it wouldn't do that, don't buy that one.
Yeah.
Just
Well-
go for the next one.
Well, what I can do is if I can find it, I'll just post the link to that one that
Oh,
I
there
used
you
to
go.
buy it.
I like it.
This, I don't know if this is still around or not, so you're going to have to do the digging on that one. I mean, if you
Tiptoe
wanted
Pro.
that one, but I would just recommend going through and finding one that you like.
Yeah,
you
whatever
know,
your preference
and
is.
then just read reviews.
If it's got, but you want to make sure that it has a microphone.
Well, it'll always have a microphone, but you want to if you
I've
want
seen them that say you have to get an external mic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't come across that one yet. Oh,
Yeah.
that's stupid.
I know, right?
But if you want to listen to it in real time, like after your like 2-minute, burst session, make sure it has a speaker.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, this has headphone jacks too, so I mean, I could use that.
Do you want that? Is it important? Look for it.
I mean, it just depends. I mean, you could probably put earbuds in, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like when I listen to stuff, because anymore my ears with the ringing, like it's getting louder, so I have to put headphones on, but they got to be like noise canceling type of ones that just over your ears, not something that goes in your ears, because
I almost just threw this across the room for no reason. No, like my hand was just like, yeet.
oh, all right.
Using your powers on me. So you have to think about, I guess, what's important to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind carrying, some, I mean, I wouldn't say like super bulky, but ones that just like muff your ears. I mean, do it. I mean, Tracy, you'll have a purse, I'm sure. So
That's sexist.
or a backpack.
Yeah, backpacks.
Damn, like you didn't even let me finish.
I just like to argue with Jeff.
Jesus. Or
But
a backpack.
Jeff got a cool vest to put all his stuff.
I did actually. I haven't really been able to use it yet, though.
Oh, you can use it soon.
I've
fam.
used it once.
Oh, we're gonna fix that.
I know. It was
But Jeff
cold,
got
though.
what kind of vest did you get? Like a fishing vest.
It's no, it was actually like a hunting vest, like a fishing hunting vest.
So it's got like a bunch of pockets. So if you like, nobody really wants to carry. A
Here,
big
I'll go
bag
get it
around.
really quick.
Okay, go get it, Jeff. You can do the catwalk for us.
Is that what you said?
Do the catwalk, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So basically, no purse, no backpack. Tracy says she's just raw dogging through life. But so basically, if you're looking for a digital recorder, this one you're just gonna look for a standard EMF meter. They're all the same thing. Just look for a cheap one. Look for the reviews. Putting that down. You got the digital recorder. You have to decide what's important to you. Will this plug into your computer? Yes. Will you plug in headphones to it? Yes. Is it rechargeable? Yes. Does it have visible buttons? Yes. Does it light up? Yes. Does it get you fried chicken? No. I don't want it.
There are some that are touch too, so I mean, just
Decide
go
what
on
you
what
want.
you want. But anyway, the vest.
Oh yeah, this is a very nice item.
I saw it on one of those ghost hunting stores, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I want one. And then I was like, well, let me see what Amazon has, and I got it like $15 cheaper.
Yeah. See, this
And
is
it's
shop.
and it's literally
around.
like the same thing. It's basically the same model same vest. Ouch. Fuck you, Mark. So yeah, I mean it's like a hunting. I think this one was more of like a hunting vest. Honestly.
We'll post a swanky picture
But-
for you guys.
But yeah, so let me zip it up here.
It's got really all these pockets. You can put snacks, or you could put your equipment.
Yeah, let's put snacks in there.
I got my priorities, okay?
I know. But yeah, you've got you got a pocket here, then you have like a little pocket on top of that pocket.
The only thing that we like to carry around
you
that,
got this, but
yeah,
I mean you don't.
that's for
need that
pens.
Well, now it
If
can
you
roll.
right or bullets.
But then you have like other little pockets, a bigger pocket, then you have this side pocket. Let me tell you, they want you to be ready for ghost hunting.
Yep.
You got a pocket up here, pocket, 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 pocket,
Yep.
pocket. I mean, quite literally everything.
The only bad
And
thing
then-
is it doesn't fit in there. Is the dowsing rods do not fit.
There was something.
That's a vent, and it's right back here.
Yeah, okay, and then there was like something. Oh, then there was like this, which is like a big pocket. But
Oh, you can put the dowsing rods back there as long as you're not sitting down.
true, probably won't do that. But yeah, it's fancy.
It's very cool. So if you're looking to
You
go
show
and
off your
carry
muscles,
some
too,
stuff
when it's
around,
warm, like, I know. I don't have any, but I'm just saying.
if you're looking to walk around and have freedom of motion without having to go, oh, let me pick this up,
Yeah,
put
I
it
drop-
down,
I
put
drop
this
stuff
up,
a
put it
lot,
down.
Like eyes getting pissed.
You got your flashlight, you've got your K2, you've got your spirit box, all the because what we broke a spirit box by dropping it
I was not happy about it.
We weren't happy because they come with like a little string for you to carry it with, but we all know how that goes if you've ever dealt with those strings.
Yeah.
So this is a solution that is available to you
Yep.
guys. Or backpack, you got, old backpack from school. Cool. You got whatever you feel comfortable carrying your stuff in.
Yeah, I mean-
just be mindful of your surroundings. And of course, if you put something down and you're at an investigation, watch your shit. If there's other people there that you don't know.
Yeah.
'Cause they will
That's-
take it.
That's true. I mean, and maybe
That's just a tip for regular life,
if you're gonna go get a bag, just maybe get one with like extra like little spots, just so you don't have everything like clunked together.
True.
Just say you want to, bring out. You're like, oh, I'm gonna definitely want to use the K-2 meter in your digital record. You don't want it like jam packed in somewhere, and you're trying to dig for it the whole time.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely handy to have a
Yeah.
way to like take your stuff with you, to walk around, and also like you're not using it. What do you do with this? You don't have
Yup.
pockets.
I mean, I guess you could wear cargo pants, but
I like to wear stretchy pants,
I know you
but I got some with pockets.
do. Ooh.
I know.
Ooh.
I'm pretty cool now, but I like to wear my ghost pants when I go ghost hunting,
I know you
or my
do.
Ouija board pants.
I know you do. You got Ghostbusters on right now.
I do have Ghostbusters pants on today.
You have socks on, like your cool socks, whatever you have.
I have Star Wars socks on.
That's not as cool.
But yeah. So what else, friend?
I don't know. I think we went over it, unless anybody's got questions.
I was gonna say it's almost 9:00. That's about the end of our time that we had allotted, including the time that we had the technology messed up.
Yep.
So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns that
Yep.
you would like addressed before we sign off, we will take the time to do so. Please don't worry that we might go a little bit over.
Yep. I mean, is it? I mean,
Tips, questions in
yeah.
general.
I mean, you can always message us too. You don't have to put it on
That's
here.
true.
But maybe just let us know what you thought about, like the length.
This is our first one,
if-
so yeah, constructive
if-
criticism is also
If
welcome.
Kim rambled too much.
I love rambling.
I know.
Not about the technology though. Like we were sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I don't know what that is.
We don't know. We're gonna work on that.
I'm gonna get it worked out for before the live, which is a few weeks away now.
I'm excited. We have a guest.
We do have a guest.
So come, we do a
he
monthly live for those of you that are not regular
and
viewers.
He actually, I mean, I've made this statement, I think, even on the post, but he actually reached out to me.
He was like, "Please, can I be on your
Yeah,
cool
I
show?"
actually talked to him. He was part of the podcast that I'm a co-founder, I guess, of. Yeah, he actually reached out to me after we did. No, I think it was the one in November or December or something. Like I woke up to a message, so I was like, "Yeah, he's from Ohio, so I mean that's a big deal."
He's from the Toledo Spirit Hunters.
Yeah.
See, I did my research.
So he's from Ohio, so I mean he's definitely making. I mean it's probably only like 4 hours, but he's still making a drive to come
Yeah.
up here for something that's 2 hours long.
So
And maybe depending on how it goes, it could run over just a tiny bit more too.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm not upset to that idea.
and we're so we do for those of you that have not been regular viewers, every month, almost every month,
Every last Sunday of the
the
month.
last Sunday of the month, unless we say otherwise.
When we try, if we can't do it that, we'll try and reschedule to like the one before.
So you can
It depends.
find us on Facebook, and all of our lives are scheduled on there for
Yep.
events. And if you would like to be a guest also,
Yep.
please let us know.
Yep.
Because we are always looking for cool people that want to talk about paranormal.
Yep.
But you need to have something to
With
bring to the conversation.
I mean, even if it's like UFO, I'll talk.
yeah,
about
we
it.
don't care. It's Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just watched something on Bigfoot.
Oh, cool.
I know.
So so the upcoming live and the upcoming investigation, and we're going to start doing regular workshops. And
Yep. And if
continue to sign up.
And I mean, if I haven't already posted one, if you're like, oh, I would really like, if you could go over blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and if I have it, I will do it, and I'll make that like the next one.
yeah. And if we don't have it, we'll just say sorry, we don't have that.
Yeah. And then
We might know somebody that does though.
Yeah, we could. But yeah, there's a few gadgets and stuff that I want to get or
Mm-hmm.
make, and I mean, I'll try and combine a couple if it's like, even if they're opposites. But I'm like, I can't really talk
Because
like,
one of them might not
more
take
than maybe
an hour
like
and a half to talk
I'm
about.
like,
Correct.
I'm like, I can't talk an hour and a half about this little tiny thing.
Oh,
So
we could do the Ouija board one in the garage. Anyway, we'll talk about it.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
But anyway, so my brain just had a minute. So yeah, if you guys have constructive criticism that's actually like gonna help us, please feel free to either message us,
Yep.
Leave us a comment. If you have a topic you would like us to discuss, you have like Jeff said, a piece of equipment that you would like us to discuss, please feel free to make suggestions. We're really open
Yep.
to any of that stuff.
Yep.
And you can find us on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, and Patreon.
I don't know about that.
We never
one
got that
yet.
fixed.
I
Okay.
don't know. That's
But
still a headache.
if you, we apparently the Patreon's messed up. So
Yeah.
but you can also message us if you would like to go on an investigation with us. We will
Try and
we'll
work it
try and
out.
work something out with you.
But yeah, you can always donate to
And
the
make
PayPal
donations.
account.
Buy
which-
some merch.
Yeah, you could do that too.
And do our support.
And do what?
Do support.
Oh, I think you said something about sword. I'm like, why did you just say sword?
I love swords. But
But yeah, like all that other rambling stuff that we always say.
make sure you,
and
like,
you subscribe.
comment, subscribe.
Yup.
Go back and watch some of our other videos and give us a
Yes.
comment about our K2
Yes.
usage.
And Tracy, if you, and I don't think you did,
Uh-oh.
you didn't watch last week's live.
Not just Tracy, let's do single Tracy how?
Because Tracy didn't watch last month's live.
We had a special
We
thing
had
for
a
him.
we had a an interaction moment there. What was it, like the last somewhere within
Oh, we
like the
did.
last
Yeah,
hour?
yeah, we had a little technology problem.
I mean,
That was weird. Go back and watch
what are
it.
you talking? I'm talking about the
What are
other
you talking about?
the
I'm talking about two different things.
interactive.
Oh, the
moments.
fun thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that again.
Yeah. Just go back and check it out. It was kind of cool.
I thought I was talking about when the audio was.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But no, that was weird too.
Anyway.
You'll see that.
So
You
there's
need
gonna
to
be,
go
but
back
yeah, there's
and
gonna be a
watch
new
it.
thing that we're gonna do on our lives, which is play the EVP game.
Yup. It was cool. People liked it.
So cool. I think
all right.
it's 9:02 now.
Yup.
So unless anybody has
Last minute
questions,
questions. We'll give you like
comments,
2 minutes because there's
concerns,
delay.
delicious recipes that you'd like to share,
Or if you want to comment about my
fried
sweet
chicken.
TV.
Jeff and I found this TV.
Yeah, and she wouldn't steal one for me. I walked down the road with this under my arm, and she's like, "I don't want to carry a TV down the road." And I was like,
I was carrying
"Fine."
other stuff.
And I was carrying. You were not carrying that much stuff. And I was like, "Fine." And I put it under my arm, and I just walked down the road for like the not even quarter of a mile that we had to walk.
Tracy, it's okay if you missed it because it's always available on the internet. The
is.
internet is forever, so you can go
It
back
is.
when you have time and
Yep.
watch it. But yeah, it was kind of interesting, and
Yeah.
you can still leave comments.
Yeah, do it. If you, I mean, you're gonna hear, what we heard or what I heard, initially at the end. when
My
I
weird
was with-
comments.
Yeah, I mean, but if you, try not to watch it on your phone because I think sometimes that's hard to hear things very well. Well, that kind of stuff. I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe with headphones. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Try it and just, tell us what you think. Just leave a comment.
But you can
Comments
see
would be
kind
great.
of in that some results from this
Mm-hmm.
because it is EVPs that we captured.
Yep.
Some with this device and some with other things.
Yeah.
But you can see kind of how the process would be of listening to EVPs.
Right. Yep. Very true.
Yeah. And then check out our videos where we use these two lovely devices.
Yep.
These are our friends.
They are.
Cool.
Especially near the beginning.
Yeah, especially in the beginning when we really didn't have a lot.
Yep.
And we were
'Cause
like
this guy
hanging,
was broke.
we were hanging cameras from strings in the rafters and weird stuff like that.
Yep. All right.
So
Thank
thank you guys, and we appreciate your
done.
patience at the beginning.
Yep.
And again, we
Super
apologize.
sorry.
But if any of you are regular viewers, technology
But
seems
you had
to fight
fun,
with us. You
and
still
I
had
can-
fun, hopefully.
I'm telling you had fun, whether
Jeff
you had
says you
fun
had
or
fun.
not.
Mom says she had fun.
Yeah.
I had fun.
If mom had fun, you had to have
Joel,
had fun.
Joel, did you have fun? Maybe.
Did you hear that? Oh no! All right. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for watching.
Thank you all. Make
Sign
sure
up for the next one.
sign up.
Like, subscribe.
Do the things at the bottom of the screen.
Donate.
Bye, Tracy. We love you.
Buy stuff.
Hang up the phone, Jeff.
Don't tell me what to do.
Look at this. Look at it.